Hey guys, this is my art project. I named it Shimmering Lights and I hope you guys all enjoy. So before I get started into the detailed process of my painting and my artist statement, I want to give a little bit of a background as to why I picked what I wanted to paint for my art project. Around summer 2018, I went from Atlanta to Paris, and there I visited the Eiffel Tower with a group of my friends and my favorite teacher, where we got to see the Eiffel Tower at night. So one of the main reasons why I picked the Eiffel Tower, even though it is practically one of the most popular tourist spots in Paris, France, is because I wanted to reflect my own artist statement, which is basically bringing to light the most beautiful thing that you could possibly imagine and morph it into something even more amazing. So before I get started into my artwork, I wanted to give a deeper understanding on what my artist statement is. So one of my big inspirations behind my artist statement is basically this video that we watched for our discussion post, which was what is art for? And one of the main ideas to me that stood out was that art helps us appreciate stuff. So this idea, art helps us to appreciate stuff, is one of the main ideas I've had for a long time ever since I started to do art. So basically, in my opinion, I think art is very like one of the main ways for us to realize and to identify hidden beauty that we have in this world that we tend to overlook. So basically, in a sense, art brings hidden beauty out into the light. So I really wanted to begin by having an example that I have previously painted in the past that really shows how hidden beauty is really in things that we do not expect. So for example, even a simple hand, I believe that artwork really can bring out the details in what we typically do not really see when we look at our hands. So here's a close-up of one of the painted hands that I shown in the previous image before. And for this I used acrylic as well, and I painted it on like a mixed media paper. And so I used the abstract technique to paint the hand because I really realized that to show the true beauty of hands, rather than doing typical realism kind of painting, I decided that an abstract was the best way to emphasize the distinct and very like beautiful features of a hand itself by showing the creases of the hand and showing the shadows and the highlights of the hand if a bright light was shining on it. And then for this photo, it's kind of a similar representation of the painting I had shown previously, but rather than this, I just want to really show and emphasize how if you look at a hand typically normally with your own two plain eyes, you can see it's rather plain. It's very one-tone color, but when using abstract painting, it really helps to emphasize the hidden beauty of a typical plain hand that you look at every day. So for my next example, I really wanted to show the reference photo first, just so you can also get a visual on how a normal image can transform into something that really emphasizes the hidden beauty that you typically don't see with your two very eyes. So this reference photo is basically me taking a photo on a white background with glass vases and light bulbs, and then there's also some bells in the water and marbles, and it's basically anything with a reflective surface. And the purpose of this artwork was to basically showcase and emphasize lights and shadows, and it overall is a very challenging artwork. However, through patience and attentive to detail, it was overall very manageable to do. So for this artwork, I did it on a gray mi-teintes paper along with some colored pencils. Typically, I use mainly white, gray, and black because I didn't really want to add too much color, otherwise it would stray away from showing the true beauty of reflective surfaces. So here's the officially drawn out finished product of the reflective surfaces artwork, and as you can see, I really emphasize the lights and the shadows using the whites, grays, and darks. And you can notice that I only put colors on the marbles, mainly to show like a little bit of an interesting aspect to the artwork, but also so that I don't stray too much away from my intention of showing the viewers that the true beauty of this whole overall piece is the reflective surfaces. So to help show and to bring out the idea that hidden beauty needs to be brought into light, I decided to really illuminate the Eiffel Tower during my painting. and to show the true beauty of the Eiffel Tower based on colors and especially like the reflection of the Eiffel Tower, especially when it is shimmering, just to show that even though people already acknowledge it as a beautiful architecture, which is why it is one of the most popular tourist attractions. Because of this, I really want to use this as like a challenging sort of way for me to showcase that there is within beauty there is hidden beauty, and because of that I wanted to mix in the beauty of the Eiffel Tower at night alongside with the beauty of nature that we almost every single day tend to overlook. So to bring this idea into life, I decided that I would use acrylic painting as my media and canvas board as my medium because I have had the most experience in it, and I believe that it is the most comforting way for me to truly and easily bring out this idea. So after discussing my artist statement for a while, I wanted to get into the whole process of me creating my artwork of the Eiffel Tower. So I decided to start off with the reference photo of the Eiffel Tower, which as you may notice through my stages of my process, I did tweak the shape and the proportions a little bit just to emphasize a little bit more on the whole beauty of the Eiffel Tower rather than in the reference photo. It did get a little bit cut off to my more than my liking, so I decided to step a little bit out of my boundaries and try and imagine the rest of the Eiffel Tower as it was. So I started this art project by first sketching out the shape of the Eiffel Tower, and then I started to paint the background and I started making it have like a sort of cloudy look with a bunch of colors just to add a little bit of nice beauty. And then I started painting the Eiffel Tower, starting with the base color of the yellow, and then after that I started getting into more of the details of the tower one by one, and then I started kind of like exploring with the colors, deciding to go with a more kind of abstract look rather than realistic, as I had a pretty difficult time making it look extremely realistic. So before I get started into discussing the next stage of my art project, I wanted to emphasize that it has been at least a month since I worked on it, as I first worked on it was about March 11th, and then the next time I worked on it was about April 18th. And basically, during this amount of time, I kind of realized that the whole background, to me at least, was very moody. It's kind of like when you see the Eiffel Tower on like a cloudy day. So I wanted to make it more vibrant, and I wanted to emphasize the beauty of the Eiffel Tower in a whole new perspective rather than just what you can see in real life. And of course, within a month span, it's really easy to go back and realize, oh, there's like a little bit of some mistakes or something that can fix. So, for example, in this painting, I realized that the Eiffel Tower on the tip of the Eiffel Tower was a little bit crooked, so I decided to fix that when I went back to working on it around April 18th. So after a while, I started working on the top of the Eiffel Tower, making it more complete because I thought it looked really flat. And then accidentally, I kind of realized that I wanted to go more of an abstract look. And then I kind of started playing around with my colors. And then I eventually started adding these little white dots that kind of showed a little glimmering look, like this video I took back when I was on a boat tour looking at the Eiffel Tower. On top of this being the inspiration to the sort of sparkly feeling on the illuminating Eiffel Tower for my painting, it also really helped to inspire me the background of this piece because I can see, as you can see, the sky in this video begins to slowly change color, kind of like when the sky changes when there's a sunset. And I thought this was really beautiful, and I decided to make this kind of the color scheme of my painting. And then after that, I kind of decided to change the look on the sky because, as I said before, it was very gloomy and very dark. And then I kind of started morphing it into the way like how when you see like the nights, the skies change colors all of a sudden. I wanted to make it more, a little bit more warm, but also have that little like nice, like calming sense of feeling to the painting. So I started continuing to fix the clouds and then making the bottom less black and then more like dark red. And then I started emphasizing the outer edges of the Eiffel Tower by having more of these yellow clouds, kind of like when in the night sky, like you see a really bright tower, the edges of the tower, it kind of has like an illuminating light to it, which adds make it really beautiful. And then here's the finished piece. I put a zoom in, and then here it is from an outside perspective. I thought it turned out really well, in my opinion, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and I hope you guys all stay safe.